The ghoulish murder of a pretty little John Benet Ramsey lookalike takes yet another strange and dramatic turn.
It was huge.
A new investigation making an astounding discovery about the key piece of police video evidence.
The video absolutely did not show what the police and prosecution claimed it showed.
Finally, solving the mystery of whether this cop had something to do with a shocking child killing.
And the case is over.
I was shocked.
This photo of Jodi Parrack, taken several years before she was killed, is beyond eerie. She's a mirror image of John Benet. And strangely, the investigation into Jodi's death has disturbing echoes of the blame game that followed the notorious John Benet murder.
In cases like these, many times families involved, and we felt initially in this case that it was someone that knew her. A lot of things pointed to that. So we had to look at many people close to Jodi as a potential suspect as well.
Jodi, who was 11, wasn't a child beauty pageant queen like John Benet, but she did share a similar passion for looking pretty.
She said that she wanted to be a cosmetologist because when people feel pretty, it makes them happy, and she wanted to make people happy.
Jodi was a happy, vibrant little girl.
She loved animals and fishing and bike riding, swimming, playing dress up, singing, football, her friends. She just loved life.
Then one day after school, Jodi would ride her bike to a friend's house in the small town of Constantine, Michigan.
She never came home.
A frantic Joe would turn to a friend and neighbor named Ray McCann, a reserve police officer.
And he said that he would help me look for her.
And eerily, Officer McCann would ask search parties if anyone had looked in the cemetery near Jodi's home.
And of course, we're all like, no.
Later that night, when there is still no sign of Jodi, Officer McCann re-asks the question.
And he said, well, did anybody check the cemetery again? And that's when I said, no, we haven't, but I guess we'll go there next.
Sure enough, that's where Jo herself would find her daughter, lying next to her bike at the foot of a headstone.
I fell on the ground, saying, no, God, no, God. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it.
Investigators would learn that Jodi had been sexually assaulted, handcuffed, and smothered to death.
I can imagine sitting there with the plastic bag over your head for a half an hour.
And the shadow of suspicion would quickly fall upon Officer Raymond McCann because of his repeated requests that searchers look in the cemetery for Jodi.
The problem is he was out searching all night, and he himself never went to search the cemetery except for coincidentally, right when the body was found.
And I thought it was odd that he kept suggesting the cemetery.
So did local police, who bring Officer McCann in for questioning.
There's two strange things going on with you in our eyes, and we have to get it straightened out. But if you do know anything about it at all, Ray...
No, if I knew something right now, I'd tell you.
Officer McCann denies suggestions he already knew Jodi's body was in the cemetery when he was encouraging other searchers to look there.
I'm not going to jail for someone else's.
And he looks to be off the hook when none of his DNA is found on Jodi's body. And police verify his alibi that he was at home with his wife and kids at the time of her murder. But police are still convinced Officer McCann is lying to them about his movements that evening, after the security video shows no sign of him searching a nearby dam for Jodi, as he claimed to have done. And Jodi's mother and most of the community continues to suspect Officer McCann is hiding something.
And I just wanted him to tell the truth.
Several years would go by with no answers before the Michigan State Police would dispatch a 4-man cold case team to Constantine to reinvestigate Jodi's murder. And state police investigators still have the same question about Officer McCann as Joe and local police did right from the beginning.
Is he trying to distance himself from that cemetery?
You didn't go there because you knew she was there and you wanted to...
No, I didn't know she was there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you knew. Our investigation shows that you knew that she was there.
Then detectives turn up the heat some more, suggesting the father of two is living a double life as a sex-crazed predator.
I mean, Ray says he's a Christian. Ray says he's this, that, a coach, whatever, but when mom leaves to work, Ray trolls the streets looking to pick someone up. Gets on porn before he does it.
And investigators tell him they believe he was doing exactly that the day Jodi was murdered.
Yeah, you came in contact with her, okay, and okay, you were on the porn site, okay, you're trolling on the porn site, you having a problem, so you were looking to hit a home run here.
Next, our all-new interview with the man cops call a twisted child killer.
Instantly, tears came in my eyes.
And another little girl is attacked in a neighboring town.
I almost got killed.
But she bravely escapes to point the finger at Jodi's murderer once and for all.
She's the one that broke the case.
He asked me to kind of put tools in his box because he said his back was hurting.
Then he attacks.
All of a sudden he pulls me back and just grabs me.